Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Cancer Sucks 200 at Auto Club for the second round of the HTL Hammer Down Truck Series. My name is Sasak, joined here by Ryan Pannell. After a great first round at the Daytona International Speedway, we moved cross country to Southern California here in Fontana for what hopes to be another great race. 62 laps of action. Ryan, how are we feeling for tonight's event?
I'm excited. We had a really good race at Daytona and now 62 laps here at Auto Club under the lights. That's always fun anytime you get to race under the lights. So I'm excited for the race tonight.
Of course, Auto Club is still also a big track. Daytona 2.5, this track 2 miles, but a very different track in terms of how it profiles. The turns a lot flatter. Usually, how do you race this track? What are you expecting when we come to this place?
A lot of different lanes. You can run the inside, you can run the outside, the middle. I mean, this track is really wide, and like you said, a 2-mile track. It's going to be fun. I'm really excited to see who can make the bottom work, who can make the top work. I think there's going to be a lot of good racing.
Of course. And last week we had Christopher Pannell take home the trophy. And what do you think? Who do you think is going to be able to take home the trophy tonight? Of course, we have a lot of the same returning drivers, some new drivers in the field tonight. Just who do you think? Give us a few names on who you think are capable of winning this race.
Yeah, it's tough again because as practice has gone on, there's been some people that are up front in the practice results that probably had some draft laps. So it's another kind of wild card in practice. I mean, obviously the 27 of Smeal right now sitting on top of the leaderboard. Joshua Gaiman again. He's very fast just in everything he runs. But Bobby Blowers is sitting 10th right now. He's another one that is usually very fast. And then, of course, Pacey Wygent sitting 4th right now. We know how fast he is. So we'll just have to see how this works out.
And of course, David Spiel, after last week, is second in the points currently. Christopher Pannell saying 21st in practice. And, I mean, this is one of my personal favorite tracks to run at. It's just very fun, very wide. And generally, like, what's going through your mind? What's your strategy when we come to this track? And of course, there's a lot of space to make passes, and there, like you said, a lot of different lanes as you see these two cars on track here fighting pretty close right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be more, obviously, the first race. Tire saving was not a thing. Daytona really just does not use tires. This track, complete opposite. They're going to be going through tires pretty quickly. So it's just, you have to find that happy medium between, okay, I want to be fast, but I also want to save tires and save fuel. This race usually comes down to fuel strategy. I think it probably will tonight as well. So we'll just have to watch that as we go through the laps here tonight at Auto Club.
Yeah, and of course, and there's going to be a lot of three-wide racing here as some cars are getting into a little bit of a bump there from that 24 truck. Yeah, I mean, some people like to rub and shove here, or just some people like to give the space. So what's your philosophy on that?
I've always been one just to keep it nice and easy. I'm not a very aggressive driver. I like to just run my own line, and if somebody's faster than me, I'm going to let them go. But obviously, everyone doesn't race that way. Some people are very aggressive. They block, and this track is very wide, so you're going to see drivers make the top line work. They'll make the bottom line work. That's what's so cool about this track. And I hate that it is not around anymore because this is one of the coolest tracks. It doesn't matter what series, trucks, Xfinity, Cup. It's just an awesome racetrack.
You can even have great racing here in the IndyCar machinery. Watching Rance Lewin go around the track right now into turn 1. He finished in let's take a look here. He finished close to the back of the pack last week. It looks like he's 21st in points right now. Of course, we saw him up front a few times in that battle at Daytona, especially near the end. It looked like he had a chance to win it. Changed the truck. He's in the 54 this week. Can't quite remember what number he was in last week, but what do you make of his chances here tonight?
I mean, right now sitting ninth on the practice board, so again, practice time's not always relevant to how they're running the race, but it's definitely a good sign. So being in ninth right now with right at 13 minutes left in practice, I like his chances.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, this will be a 62 lap race, so with how big the track is, how long the lap times take here, it's about a 40 second lap. Going to be a lot of time for these drivers to make moves, and we should hopefully see green flag pit stops here tonight. This pit road for me is a little bit tricky, especially with how wide the track is and how the turns go. Walk us through generally just how much of a issue that could be for the drivers here tonight.
Yeah, communication is going to be key. I mean, if you are coming off turn 2 and you're getting ready to pit, they're going to have to call it out because you have no idea if someone behind you is pitting or staying out. So communication definitely going to be key tonight. It's not one of the most difficult tracks to get on pit road, but it definitely, you carry so much speed that you could definitely get a speeding penalty coming down pit road. So, but all the drivers just have to communicate with each other. That's the main thing. If everyone knows, hey, this truck's pitting or this truck's staying out, we'll be all fine.
Of course, and hopefully we'll stay green. It's always nice to see some green flag racing. Just saw a car absolutely hit the inside wall in the backstretch. Looking at Carmen Sienna now, though. Had a decent showing. Let me just take a look at this point standing once again. Had a decent showing last week, was at the front a lot, but not quite where she wanted to end up, in 19th place, tied for 19th place right now in the points. Are we hoping we can see a little bit more from her this week? Of course, Daytona, a little bit more of a wild card race in which anybody can get injured or hurt, even if they were at the front of the pack. Carmen Sienna, one of those drivers who likes to be really aggressive, especially at those super speedways. Kind of what are we expecting from her here?
Yeah, I mean, this is a track where the wild card kind of goes away. This gets back to some speed, some talent, and Daytona is, like we said last week, it's a wild card. So for me, after Daytona, if you're top 20 in points, that's a win, that's a success. Move on. Now you get to really flex your muscle. I mean, she's 13th fastest right now on the leaderboard in practice. So obviously the speed's there, but practice and race are two different things. So we'll have to see what happens.
Of course, Carmen Sienna, as you said, staying 13th right now in practice. David Spiel Jr. still staying at the top of the board in that number 27 truck with a 39.78, followed by Alyssa Pelletier Sharp in second with a 39.8. A lot of these lap times at the front are actually quite close. John Matthews in the 98, also with a 39.8. Pacey Wygen in fourth with a 39.81, and then Martin Roberg in fifth with a 39.83. So not really seeing anybody kind of go away from the pack in terms of lap times. They're all very steady in that high 39 range to the very low 40s range. And I mean, looks like we're going to have a close battle at the front based off some of these lap times. So what do you think?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's still, even though it's not, it's not a super speedway, it's not really a draft track, so to say, these trucks are still going to be all over each other. I mean, the draft is still a huge part in how these trucks race here. So you're going to see a lot of drafting, a lot of trucks really close together. The only thing I would see, people may try and save some fuel, save some tires. They may go to the back, but these trucks are going to be pretty much all over each other all night.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of room for people to maneuver around as well, and just how big the track is helps a lot. You can certainly get up to somebody and push them along on the back straights here. It's a giant track, 2 miles, as I've said before. We got about 8 minutes left, well, 9 minutes, sorry, left in practice. We see a lot of bumping and banging here between these two cars. I believe that is Blake Henderson in the 25, and I can't quite see who that other car is. It's the 21 of Alfred Denny. I mean, that's a lot of shoving between those two friends there.
Yeah, a little bit of shoving, a little bit of crazy action there, but like we said at Daytona, get it out in practice, don't do it in the race.
Some pit road practice going on here too. There's a truck stop there. That is the 31 of Pacey Wygen. For some reason just stopped on the entry pit road, but see a lot of trucks coming into practice their pit road just to get that down, the timings down on those entries. And I mean, we have a lot of trucks showing up tonight. Looks like we've got about 34 trucks entered into the race right now. Of course, we still have 8 minutes left in practice, but I mean, this is a pretty big field for this race. That's almost a full truck field in real life, if not more.
Yeah, and shout out to the admins of this series and Blake and everybody involved. I mean, you know, we didn't even know if this race was going to happen, and here we are with 34 trucks out there. So that's really cool. I mean, I always love for any series, you know, that I'm a part of to succeed and to have 34 trucks out on track, and still 7 minutes, like you said, 7 minutes left in practice. So we could have a couple others join last minute. But yeah, 34 trucks, that's gonna be wild.
Got a little bit of a pit party going on here too. There are a lot of trucks coming out at the same time, looking to race, get those opportunities in that practice to race kind of with each other in the draft. Looking at Martin Roberg right now in the 37, that Louisiana Hot Sauce Roberg Designs car. A very nice scheme. I enjoy that one a lot. Followed by the 6 of Nicholas Hapiak. And I believe that is the 31 of Pacey Wygen. So we got a nice little group here going around the track. You can see the different lines that these drivers are taking. Pacey choosing that high side over the low line that Martin Roberg and Nicholas decide to take there.
Yeah, the high side's really, I prefer the high side when I race tracks like this, just because the run that you get off of the corner exit is just insane. I mean, you get such a good run, and we'll see drivers up top side, middle, low. I mean, that's what's, again, so cool about this track, is you can run anywhere you want to, and you can make it fast. It just depends, you know, how much are you using your tires up, and you got to just adjust as the race goes on.
And some people may choose different lines at different corners. I know some people that'll go low in 1 and 2, but high in 3 and 4, which is something else that we might see tonight as well.
For sure. I mean, that's what's cool about this track, is if you feel, you know, if your truck feels better on the bottom in 1 and 2 and better on the top in 3 and 4, you know, you can do that and still not lose much time, and, you know, stay with the trucks around you. And that's just, again, this racetrack's just awesome. I love this track. I love racing this track, but I'm excited to get to call all the action tonight here at Auto Club.
Of course, it's also one of my favorite tracks on the schedule, one of my favorite tracks to race in the HTL Cup Series. And see Martin Roberg taking another pit stop practice there, settling nicely, maybe a little bit angled into his pit box. And it's going to be important for people to just try and figure out where they're going. We see a lot of racing here. Looks like between the 88 of, that is John Hagan, and the 87 of Matt Gall, just on the backstretch, just racing hard. It looks like both of them just having some fun out there, getting their practice, their reps in.
Yeah, and that's what, you know, that's what you do in practice. You practice racing around people, see where you can maybe make up some time, you know, getting into the corner or off corner exit. But this is where you do it in practice. I mean, with only 4 minutes left in practice, you got to push it and see how far you can go, and, you know, how much you can kind of ride along the truck beside you.
Of course, and he's going a little bit slow right now. Matthew Gall is on the front stretch. It looked like maybe he wanted to get away from a bit of the insanity there, but some cars coming out of the pits there. You saw Matthew Gall just looking like he's running around here, maybe trying to race with some other people just to get those reps in, as we saw with John Hagan prior.
He's practicing saving fuel. That's my guess.
Fair enough. We see a little bit of more of a pack here. John Hagan looks like he's also in this one. Saw the 93 of DJ Trout in the mix. There's a little bit of bump in there between the 87 and the 93 car. I mean, they're racing hard even though it's in practice yet. And as these cars are fighting here, we're going to go to a quick break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Just need to fix some things. So we'll be right back. Stay in your seats. Welcome back to Auto Club. Had a few technical difficulties there. Thank you for staying with us as we have about a minute left in practice here before we get into the qualifying. See a few cars racing together here, a long line in front of these guys, and we can kind of see some of the effects of the drafting here. The 78 car behind the 33, and I believe is that the 88 I'm seeing? Looks like a little bit of a different paint scheme, but see a little bit of some drafts action going on here, just a little bit. You can see how these cars have to close up with that air being blocked in front of them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the draft is still a huge part of this track, and especially with these trucks, they really have a good draft package with these trucks. So yeah, it's going to be wild when we go green with 34 trucks all basically on top of each other. I'm excited for the start of this race.
Of course. Yeah, and of course, that's a weird move by, I believe that's John Hagan there. That was a really weird move. The session's over, so I mean, they're wrecking for the fun of it at this point. DJ Trout and Matthew Gall involved in that as well. But going to be going into qualifying here, going to have 5 minutes for these drivers to set one timed lap here at the Auto Club Speedway. And what are you kind of looking for? I assume we're going to see a lot of different lines here. What are you looking for?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, on my out lap, I'm going to go high, just build up momentum. And then, of course, just one lap. So when you take the green/white flag, I think you got to keep it on the bottom. That's the fastest around here, at least, me personally, that's how I feel. But we'll see what everybody does, but I think you're going to see a lot of trucks hugging that white line on both 1 and 2 and in 3 and 4.
Yep, see Rance Lewin, first one out on track. It appears coming off of turn 4, just hugging that top line before diving down low to start his flying lap. Rance Lewin, of course, in the 54 this week, and will be going low here in 1 and 2, trying to get as much speed and momentum through the turn as he can before putting it back up high to go down to the back straightaway towards turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, you got to keep it on the bottom. Just like I said, in my opinion, I think that's going to give you your fastest lap. And, you know, of course, we have a lot of people, you know, turning their laps right now. So we'll have to see what this lap looks like for the 54 of Rance Lewin.
Coming down to the line for Rance Lewin, it is going to be a 40.227. Goes second on the board. Quickly third, replaced by Tate Little and Andrew Smith. And now John Hagan takes the top spot on the leaderboard with a 40.08. So Rance Lewin might have had a good lap for a second there, but is quickly shuffled down to now 12th in the order. As we look at the 43 of Caleb Carter on his final lap, going through 1 and 2 right now.
Yeah, there's so many results coming in at the same time. It's hard to even keep up with where everyone is. But Pacey Wygen actually goes top of the board with a 40.03, so really good lap by the 31. But now the 43 coming around to get his lap time here for his qualifying effort.
Yep, coming down low towards the apron, onto it, going to make his lap a 40.194. Or was that his? Nope, 40.914. Going to put him 14th on the board, now 15th. Martin Roberg goes ahead of him. Pacey Wygen, though, still holding on to that pole position spot with a 40.04. John Matthews now coming around turn 4, takes a really low line out of the turn, gets almost onto that grass, is going to put a 40.171 to put him 12th on the board.
Yeah, it's kind of a strange line. I would have probably stayed a little higher there, but obviously qualified 12th, so it worked. But here's Christopher Pannell turning his lap now on his out lap.
Yep, last week winner at Daytona, of course, Christopher Pannell coming back here for another run at the Auto Club Speedway here in Fontana, taking that high line on his out lap. Gonna see what we can do here for Christopher Pannell. He's gonna come across the line, start that lap with a minute left in qualifying.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of speed he has going into 1 and 2. Like you said, only a minute left in qualifying, so pretty much everyone has turned a lap. There's still a few that are trying to finish up before the time runs out, and we'll see what Christopher Pannell can do as he comes into turn 3.
Blake Henderson just now setting his lap of 40.21. Christopher Pannell coming around turns 3 and 4. Let's see what kind of lap he sets here, going high, and now comes back down low to get onto that apron to cross the line. It's going to be a 40.203, which is going to put him 21st mid-pack to start off this race.
And that's everyone other than Zach McBride, who has not turned a lap yet. So everyone qualifies, and we have 37 trucks in the field tonight.
Pretty huge grid tonight, as Pacey Wygen sets the fastest lap at a 40.04, followed by Dustin Hall with a 40.06, and that will be the front row for tonight's event at Auto Club. Going into the race now, looking to be a quite exciting 62 lap event. See the cars starting to grid up now behind that Chevrolet Pace truck. Let's see just what these cars got started. So we see the grid popping up now. Pacey Wygen and Dustin Hall taking up row 1. Pacey Wygen, of course, the defending champion. John Hagan and Nicholas Hapiak in row 2. Dale Markowski in the 83 and Byron Jones in the 00. Playing up row 3, Joshua Sosi and Kyler McCarthy on row 4 for tonight's event. DJ Trout and Lily Frazier in row 5. Bobby Blowers and Dean Clavitt in row 6. John Matthews and Joshua Gaiman, row 7. Connor Morrison, the 89. Alyssa Pelletier Sharp on row 8. Martin Roberg and Caleb Carter, row 9. Tate Little and David Smeal Jr.'s on row 10, Christopher Pendell and Andrew Smith. Row 11, Jeff Scott and Steven Oberstadt going to be on row 12 for tonight. Blake Henderson in the 25 and Ronnie Ayers in the 17 on row 13. The 08 of Jonathan Adams and Rance Lewin in the 54 for tonight. On row 14, Jaden Bingaman and Lane Myers on row 15. Jimmy Mensch and Alfred Denny, row 16. Matt Gull and Carmen Sienna on row 17. James Wagoner and Richard Odie on row 18. Then Zach McBride and Austin Mongold finish out tonight on row 19. So it looks like we're going to have 38 drivers for tonight's race. Austin Mongold, a late addition.
Not going green.
As see a lot of trucks on that field coming out behind the pace truck to start their pace laps before we go green here tonight.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great race. I'm excited. 62 laps here at Auto Club, 38 trucks. That is wild. It's gonna be crazy. Hopefully everyone, again, talked about it last week, has a little bit of patience because you're gonna need it tonight here at Auto Club.
Yep, and of course, hold on, sorry. Of course, these drivers are just going to have a lot of patience like Daytona. I mean, it's still a pretty big track and it's a little bit more spread out, but a lot of things can happen quick at this track, whether it be you hit the wall or somebody spins out in front of you. So these drivers have to stay on their toes for tonight's event to get a good finish and stay out of trouble.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully everyone shows some patience, and yeah, I think it's going to get wild, crazy right here at the start, but we'll see what happens.
And of course, Pacey Wygen and Dustin Hall on the front row. As we look at the current conditions, 65 degrees Fahrenheit here at Fontana, humidity of 1%, and the wind blowing west at 8 miles per hour, partly cloudy. Of course, this is a night race, so the track temperature, the track surface, of course, is going to be a lot cooler. And what does that mean for the drivers here?
Well, it means more grip. I mean, as temperatures go down, the track cools off, and that gives you more grip in these trucks. But sometimes that means some crazy driving. So we'll see how much grip's in these things when they take the green flag here in a little bit. And I think it's going to be crazy, but I'm excited.
Of course, if you're a driver, you probably love these lower temperatures. I know I do. On board with Dale Markowski here, starting in the 5th position. He's looking to have a good result this week, as, I mean, he looked pretty good, if I remember correctly, at Daytona. And of course, Dean Clavitt back here at 12th. Just amazed at the amount of cars we have. Wrote 12th place, and we're still not even halfway through the grid of tonight's race.
Yeah, it's a large field, and there's a lot of talent in the field, and that's what makes it interesting. You got a lot of people. Some of these people have never raced around each other. Some have. So there's going to be some chemistry, but we're about to get ready to go green here.
Yep. Pacey Wygen in the 31, Dustin Hall in the 1, going to be on the front row for tonight's race. John Hagan, not sure what that was, but he's going to be 3rd. And then Nicholas Hapiak in 4th, coming onto the front stretch. The pace truck pulls down. These cars roll towards the Geico restart zone.
Green, green, green.
Pacey Wygen leading them the way as we are green. Pacey Wygen, Dustin Hall going through the gears, and we are underway here at Auto Club Speedway. Pacey Wygen still holding on to lead as we got some three-wide action farther back in the pack. John Hagan making a move to the inside of Pacey Wygen in turn 3, and I mean it's hectic already this early on. A ton of trucks all over on the racetrack, high line, middle line, low lane, and I mean they're racing hard to start off this race.
Got to make up spots early, and this is how you do it. I mean, this is crazy right now. This looks crazier than Daytona. I'm not even gonna lie. This is wild. Everyone so far though has kept it clean and green.
Dustin Hall overtook Pacey Wygen, same with John Hagan. So Dustin Hall is going to be the leader from now. I mean they're everywhere on this track, down the backstretch. A ton of cars switching lanes, trying to figure out where they can go to gain the most spots to put themselves in a good position for the upcoming run. And coming on to complete lap 2, and I mean we've already got a ton of action, a ton of passes within this pack.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, they're 2, 3, 4 wide all the way throughout the field, and somehow they have not wrecked, and I am all for it. This is awesome racing so far. On
board with Dale Markowski, and you can just see kind of the mayhem that he's in, even in 9th in the pack. He's looking at the back of the Connor Morse 89 machine right now. As you look behind him, it's even more hectic. That's a car being turned. That is the number 6 of Nicholas Hapiak, and that is going to be a huge wreck only 3 laps into this race. Bit of a graveyard, if one may say. That's Blake Henderson and Marcus Roberg involved in it. Stopped there, had to come unstuck. The 37 and the 25 did.
Yeah, there was literally so many passes and so many things going on that my live timing couldn't even keep up with it all. That's how many passes were going on. So good little 4-lap run there. Hopefully maybe the nerves are kind of getting out of these drivers now, and maybe we can get some green flag racing here.
Yeah, let's see what happens there. Nicholas Hapiak, that 6 truck has a lot of damage onto it. He took a pretty good look to the outside wall. Looks like the tire might be a little bit disconnected or suspension broken on that thing. It's kind of bouncing a weird way. Let's take a look at the replay. I believe this is it here. See DJ Trout in the middle. Nicholas Hapiak kind of coming up. It looks like they kind of just meet each other in the middle, and that causes Nicholas Hapiak to go up to the wall, hit it quite hard, and nowhere for these cars behind him to go, trying to avoid each other and avoid the car spinning. Blake Henderson, the 43 of Caleb Carter involved, and I mean a pretty good amount of cars involved here.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem with this track, is that you're so close and you're so on top of everyone that, I mean, we saw the wreck happen, and then after the wreck happened, another wreck happened. I mean, that's what happens here at Auto Club. It's tough.
Consequence avoiding, they saw that in real time. I mean, that was a pretty good lick there for Nicholas Hapiak. He's going to have to go down into the garage and get that damage fixed. These other cars here, Martin Roberg, Caleb Carter, and Blake Henderson, might not have too horrible damage. We'll have to see by these pit times, as see a lot of cars coming down pit road, maybe to get some repairs or just top up on fuel here.
Yeah, and one thing that's massively different than last week at Daytona is these drivers do not have a fast repair. So that 6 truck, I'm not thinking it's probably going to be a few minutes before he gets back on track. You know, with the super speedway racing in HTL, they do give the 1 fast repair, but tonight, no grace on the fast repair. So if you wreck that truck, there's no saving grace with that fast repair.
Yep, and a lot of cars coming out now out of the truck. Let's kind of see what Nicholas Hapiak has got going on. He looks like he's been in the pit for about 40 seconds. Peltier Sharp also been in there for a minute, just came out of her pit. DJ Trout in it for well over a minute now. And I mean, looks like a lot of more cars that were involved in that incident than I thought, that got more painful damage.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, I mean, you mentioned it, that 6 truck hit a ton. So I don't expect to see the 6 truck out of pit road anytime soon. That was a hard lick, and with no fast repairs, I think that might be pretty much the end of his night, unfortunately.
Yep. And Joshua Sosi in the lead of this race now. Dustin Hall next to him here. So they're doubling up here, ready to go for another run here on lap 6. The lights on the pace truck are out, so we're going to see it come down this time by to get back to green flag racing.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great restart here. And I guess I said Rance's last name wrong, so he asked in the chat to just call him Rowdy, and I'm all for it. So I'm going to call him Rowdy for the rest of the night, and hopefully he gets up there and wins this thing.
He does got that 54 number, so it kind of fits for Rowdy there. Gonna see Joshua Sosi lead the field back to the green after our first caution of the night. Lily Frazier on board with now in the number 13 truck in third, up 6 positions from where she started, and the pace truck pulls off. We're going to see Dustin Hall and Joshua Sosi lead them to the green here.
Green.
And they're off. Dustin Hall gets them going through the gears, and into turn 1 they go here at Auto Club. Dustin Hall gained a pretty good jump on the rest of the field there, it looks like, as he's able to get away from John Hagan and Joshua Sosi a little bit. Joshua Sosi and John Hagan fighting hard for that second position.
Oh, we're wrecking.
As we're wrecking.
They saved it. What a save.
Oh, they saved. They saves it. What truck does that appear to be? That appears to be Tate Little, who must have gotten spun around. I didn't see it. You did. But, I mean, he's in 23rd right now in that 19 truck, hoping to maybe regain some of those positions he might have lost there, as Joshua Sosi gets past John Hagan. And, oh, Connor Morse is really loose there. That was... I saw a graveyard in the future, but he's able to save it off of turn 2 and on the backstretch there. That was a little bit scary.
Yeah, I tell y'all, there is so much going on track right now. It's hard to keep up. I saw one truck sideways, saved it somehow. 89 of Connor Morse almost lost it in front of the whole field, but man, these drivers are doing a really good job of keeping this thing green right now.
Yeah, they're racing hard. Dustin Hall still has the lead of this race over Joshua Sosi and John Hagan. They're starting to file out a little bit now into single file. Maybe not the 3 wide we saw at the start of this race, sorry, but they're starting to get into a little bit of a groove now, it seems. Dustin Hall still having control of this race, coming off of turn 4 here.
Yeah, he's gets really good runs, but the 81 is right there behind him, kind of pressuring him now. And as they fight, everyone behind them will start stacking up a little bit. And luckily, like you said, we have a little bit of separation now, but these 2 up front are battling for this lead.
Yeah, Joshua Sosi going to push Dustin Hall down the backstretch, and that's some of the draft effect we see. It's not as big as at Daytona where it constitutes the entire line, but you'll see it when you're in these big packs at the start of the runs, where people will be pushing down the backstretch and maybe even the front stretch at Auto Club. Just a ton of cars still left in this field.
Yeah, still 36 on the lead lap. The 37 and the 6 look like they may be out tonight. That's unfortunate for the 37 of Roberg. We talked to him last week, and he's not going to have a good finish tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah, Roberg in the 37th position. I mean, he's still on the lead lap currently. Nicholas Hapiak about 6 laps down, still in pit lane trying to get whatever damage he had repaired. Dustin Hall, though, still in control of this race. Joshua Sosi, though, looking to the outside, might be able to lead this lap. Let's see if he can, and it's going to be going to Dustin Hall, but I mean, they're fighting hard. John Hagan now looking for an entry, putting it 3 wide going into turn 1. That's a risky move, but he's going to back off, and Joshua Sosi is probably going to get the run off of turn 2 here, looking to pass Dustin Hall for that lead.
Yeah, and shout out to Austin Mongold, started dead last, and he's up there running 9th right now, up 29 spots from where he started. So really good run for Austin Mongold right now in that number 92 truck, now in 8th.
You know, a swapping of positions here. We got, I believe that's the 33 of Josh Gaiman now in the mix with these lead trucks of Dustin Hall and Joshua Sosi. John Hagan falling a little bit farther back to the 5th position. I mean, these trucks are racing hard for this lead on lap 13 of 62 on board with Connor Morse. See the back of that Christopher Bendel machine. That 16 was last week's winner of our first round here of the season. John Hagan going to file in behind Connor Morse and going to go high here. I mean, we're just seeing a lot of the different lines. I mean, you may switch lines within the middle of a run just based on who you're passing. And we got a wreck behind. I see a few cars spinning. The 25 involved, the 54 of Rowdy involved. I mean, we got a few cars involved. Blake Henderson a part of it once again. And that 54 of Rowdy, Rance Lewin just in that's the 30 car in the grass. They're not sure who that belongs to. Let's take a look. That is James Wagoner in the grass. He might get a penalty for that. Looks like he crossed the line. I mean, he's got no front end.
Hurt. Yeah, he's hurt.
The suspension is damaged on that car, and he's just going to tow it back. That's probably night done there for James Wagoner.
Man, I hate that Rowdy was in that. That's the coolest nickname. I'm gonna use that all season. I'm glad he said that in the chat. But yeah, just unfortunate there. We'll take a look and see what happened.
Yeah, let's take a look here at the back of the pack. We see right now Rowdy already spun. It looks like that is the 87. Can't quite tell. The 87 of Matthew Gall being almost spun by Tate Little. Let's take another look at this. Better look. See 78 gain to the back. The 19 just comes out nowhere, hits Matthew Gall, and then Rowdy is just collected. Nowhere for some of these cars to go. Gets hit a ton by that 30 truck, and that was close when it came back down. But that 30 truck was hit at 54 a ton, and just a massive impact, and that's why we see that damage to the 30 truck.
Yeah, it's one of those deals where you gotta kind of see in front of the truck in front of you, but it's hard. I mean, you can't. These spoilers are so tall; it's hard to see in front of you. Oh, that is so close.
Yeah, that was a close one for the 98 truck there of John Matthews, able to get away from that one. You see that damaged 30 truck. I mean, he had a hard lick. Just unfortunate for James Wagoner there.
Yeah, and it's showing the 30 is out right now. Not sure if that's accurate, but yeah, I think his night is done.
Might well be after that hit. DJ Trout comes out of the pits. Looks like he might have stayed out. He's going to have the lead of this race. Austin Mongold up 36 positions in second place, followed by John Hagan and Joshua Gaiman, who come out in third and fourth. And that's going to be huge. I'm not quite sure if DJ Trout stayed out. Let's see if I can see. It looks like his last hit was on lap 4, so he did stay out. Austin Mongold looks like he might have taken fuel only having a 7-second pit stop. So I mean, these two are on old tires. How is that going to affect this race here?
Ooh, that's a little scary for me as a driver, but I know Austin Mongold personally. I know he's gonna try and roll the dice. I mean, he was up there, so Not 100% confident in that call, but we'll see how it works here as the lights on the pace truck are out.
Yep, lights on the pace truck out. It's going to be DJ Trout and Austin Mongold leading this field to victory. Austin Mongold in the Dr. Pepper truck. Love that personally as a Dr. Pepper enjoyer myself. John Hagan in third, Joshua Gaiman in fourth, and then Connor Morris in fifth. That's going to be the top five coming to this restart. Still got a lot of trucks in contention here. Notably, Dustin Hall was in the pits for a minute, in his pit lane for a minute. Overall pit time was 2 minutes. That's a bit worrying for me. I'm kind of curious what happened there for him to take such a long pit stop.
Got the 24 blinking a little bit, and that's going to screw up the restart here. He gets back in line. Okay, we're good.
Yep, that's Kyler McCarthy. But anyhow, pace truck pulls off down pit road. DJ Trout and Austin Mongold going to lead him to the green here. And DJ Trout gets going. We're back under green here at Auto Club Speedway. Already in the back, no. It looks like the 31 truck of Pacey Wyja involved. He's pretty fast. The 54 of Rowdy involved.
They're still green,
and they're still green. I mean, there was wrecked. There's cars stopped, but they're still going green here. As John Hagan in the lead right now, with DJ Trout in second, and it looks like we got Joshua Gaiman in third. A few cars going to lose out after that was not called. That wreck there was not called.
Yeah, I think it was just because they were all out off the racing surface. So with these iRacing cautions, if you're not on the racing surface, it's going to keep them green. So we're still green here at Auto Club.
Yep, and Rance Lewin and Steven Overstat and Pacey Wygen, all the cars involved in that little kerfuffle near the back. John Hagan, though, racing hard, trying to keep this lead away from Joshua Gaiman. Josh Sochi in third behind with Connor Morse, and that is the 93 of DJ Trout also in tow. No, the 83 of Dale Markowski. DJ Trout's there as well, but Dale Markowski is just a little bit closer to this battle.
Yeah, John Hagan and Joshua Gaiman, probably two of the more aggressive drivers that I know personally. So this is so much fun watching the both of them race. Hopefully they don't wreck each other, but we'll see what happens here. Coming to lap 20 of 62.
Gaiman going to the outside, trying to get that run down the front stretch. He's going to get a lap led here. Good for 1 point for that 33 truck. Gaiman, though, sticking it. Hagan, though, sticking it well on the inside with his... I don't think they're teammates, but Connor Morse is there. And then Joshua Sosi pushing the 33 Gaiman.
Yeah, really good racing right now. I mean, this is just a lot of fun. They're coming up on a lap car that may have been involved in that non-caution we just had. So hopefully that truck will stay out of the way once they get to him.
I believe that will be the 54 of Rowdy and maybe Steven Overstat there as well. We got a pretty good battle here for the lead, though. Joshua Gaiman still having control of this race in front of Joshua Sosi. He's kind of preferring that high line at the moment, goes low there just to attempt to block off any advance and then goes back high. I mean, he looks to be in some pretty good control of this race right now.
For sure. I mean, Joshua Gaiman is very fast. He knows what he's doing, and it's showing right now. But the 81 is right on his back bumper. Connor Morse right there. John Hagan, Dale Markowski. This is just really good racing right now here at Auto Club.
And it looks like that lap car is Caleb Carter. He looks like he might already be a lap down. He is indeed. So we're coming up pretty quick on that car of Caleb Carter. As Connor Morris makes an aggressive move to the inside, he's going to force Joshua Sosi into that high line, almost hitting the wall. And I mean, that was a pretty aggressive move from the young driver of Connor Morris to try and make a move just to get up into second place there ahead of Joshua Sosi.
Yeah, very aggressive move. And I mean, sometimes you have to make those moves, but do you do it on lap 22? You know, everybody's different, but he made it work.
On board with Byron Jones, and you can see him just trying to get the draft off of that 83 of Dale Markowski going into turn one. These trucks are reaching speeds of about 185, 190 miles per hour going into that turn. We see a car on the apron there. I think that's the number 6 truck of Nicholas Hapiak back on track after a 16, almost 17-minute pit stop for that truck getting that damage repaired. So I mean, he's back on track, hoping a few other people fall out of the race here. James Wagoner, most notably, still in the pits with damage sustained from the caution on lap 14.
Caution, yellow flag.
And we got a yellow out once again. Let's see who it is. That's the number 3 truck of Zach McBride, stopped, and I believe that's turn 1, or is that turn 4? That looks like it's turn 4. And he's got some damage. He's gonna tow it back to the pit lane here. Some pretty sizable damage. It looked like he was not able to move that truck. Let's see what happens here to the number 3. And he's already turned at this point. Going back into turn 3, let's take a look. Caleb Card, that light green number 3 truck, just gets a little bit of a tap from the 30 of Bobby Blowers, and he just gets sent hard into that outside wall. You saw the front clip come off there for a second, but snaps right back onto it once the car is stopped, and that's a heavy hit. That's probably an engine gone for Zach McBride.
Yeah, that's a huge hit. I mean, that we saw the front clip disappear and then come back. That's just an iRacing glitch, but I think that truck is definitely hurting. But shout out to the 6 of for staying in it. I mean, that is so cool to even if you're 18 down, stay in it. You know, we just saw this 3 truck is probably destroyed. Never give up here. I mean, every point matters. Yep.
And I mean, you just saw it there. That was a hard lick for that 3 truck.
And it's crazy. And it's crazy that brings out the caution, but that just shows how iRacing cautions work with that truck being on the racing surface. It recognized in
the middle of the
that.
Racing line too.
Exactly, and it recognized that, and it threw that caution. So that's the difference there.
Yep, pit stop's underway now here at Fontana, and most notably, Tate Little did not make his pit stop. His last pit came on lap 14, so he stayed out and is now the leader of this race. Dean Clavitt only looks like he took fuel, same with Alfred Denny there in second and third respectively, and then Joshua Gaiman lines in behind them with the number 33 in fourth.
Yeah, it looks like Lily Frazier and Christopher Pindell also had a pretty short stop, only had a 6.5 second stop for both of them. So looks like maybe just fuel or maybe just lefts. It's hard to tell with these pit crews, but they definitely gained some spots there with a really quick pit stop.
Yeah, a lot of cars repairing some damage right now in the pits as well. Martin Roberg, Rance Lewin, Rowdy, David Smeal Jr., and then Blake Henderson all repairing damage. And then, of course, James Wagner and Zach McBride both had pretty severe damage from their incidents, both still in the pits.
Yeah, that's what the 6 truck loves to see. When you get in an early wreck, just stay in it, see how many people get involved in wrecks. I mean, this track, you know, when a wreck happens, it's usually going to collect 3 or 4 trucks easily. So just stay in it, and you know, you may finish 38th, but if you stay in it, you may come home 30th, and that's a huge difference in points.
All right, I'm a bit confused. It looks like we were supposed to be going green this time by, but the iRacing extended it for whatever reason. Can't quite make out what the reason was, but it's been extended. Hopefully able to still go green this lap, as it looks like everything's all right on track. And Blake Henderson also here, I'm just trying to catch up to the pack to get ready for this green flag run here. As we see right now, the number 19 in a good position here in first. He probably has old tires. I think that's a very safe assumption. His last pit came on lap 14, of course. As we see the pace truck dive down, it's going to be Tate, Little, and Dean Clavitt leading the field to green here.
Green.
And we are back underway. The 19 gets a good jump on Dean Clavitt going into turn 1 here at Auto Club. Forward action there for a moment. We got a car spinning down to the inside. A few cars getting a little bit mixed up. That's a huge hit for that. I can't even make out the number on that car. It's so messed up, but they're still keeping green. That was Jeff Scott wrecked there, and he's already back into the pits, but we're still racing. John Hagan taking the lead of this race, Tate Little falling back heavily with those old tires. We see 33 of Joshua Gaiman going all the way on the apron, just trying to get that little bit of extra time. And I mean, we still got one great race on our hands here at the front of the pack.
Absolutely, and you can see pretty.
Pretty enough the 89 of Carmen Morris. They did not save it.
They did not. Nope, he almost did. And
that is
the 19
Tate
involved.
Tate Little involved in that. You saw the 18 of Alyssa Pelletier Sharp's nose come off that. Caleb Carr just spun there. It looks like he might have locked up the brakes a little bit. Not quite sure what happened, but I saw that happening. Connor Morse got spun in front of the field in turns 1 and 2, and it just was not able to save that truck like he did earlier in the race.
And if any drivers are watching this broadcast, do not take tires, because the 19 was just off the pace, and that was only a 10-lap difference. But we'll take a look at the replay here.
Yeah, taking a look here, you see the 89 already spun around from the contact he had. I believe that might have been with the 00. No, it was with the 16 of Christopher Pannell. It looks like. Gonna rewind it a little bit here. As you see the 16 Christopher Pannell just comes up, snags the 89 of Morris. He almost saves it, and then they had a little bit more of an instant coming up higher on the track, and that led to Christopher Pannell coming across the track. Just looks like we had a little bit of an auxiliary incident happening there after Connor Moore saved it. That brought out that yellow. Looked like it might have been the 18 Alyssa Pelletier Sharp that got spun across the track back into them.
Yeah, the 18 was missing her front clip, so she.
Let's see what happens. Oh, 16 gets spun again. Spin someone again. That's the 19. It looks like the 18 might have been involved in that as well. You see the 19 come down, get the 16 back. As if you're the driver of this 19 truck, you're seeing all those trucks and just praying that they don't hit you. At this point, you see the 18, no front bumper on that truck. And
yeah, I don't know what the 18 hit, but she hit it hard, whatever it was.
A little bit of damage there for, I believe that looks like the 8 of Steven Oberstadt. You can see it just fix itself there. A little bit of contact there with the 16. And then the 43 is going to come in here, hit the brakes, and just have a little bit of a spin there.
Hey,
sometimes just a little bit of a spin.
Sometimes we get a little brake happy behind the wheel, and it locks them up, and there's nothing you can do about it. Hey, shout out to the 6 truck. Looks like he just got the lucky dog, so now he's only 17 laps down.
Yep, John Hagan still in control of this race. Joshua Gaiman in second. Dean Clavitt in third. Alfred Denny in fourth, up 28 positions. And Joshua Sosi in fifth in the 81 truck. So another caution here tonight. Not quite sure what number that is, but we've had a fair few early in this race. Only 30 laps, about halfway into this race, actually.
Yeah, showing as the fourth caution for me on my scoring. So fourth caution after 30 laps, not too bad.
Not horrible. we'll like to see some green flag pit stops, though. We see the race summary. You have 4 cautions, 9 caution laps, and then 7 lead changes here as they're doubling up here. You're going to see the lights on the pace truck go out. Oh, yep, there they go. And John Hagan on the inside, Joshua Gaiman in the 33 on the outside, followed by Dean Clevitz, Alfred Denny, and Joshua Stossy. That's going to be the top 5 for the restart here at Fontana. And we've seen a few comers and goers for the rest of this race. Who you've got your eye on, Ryan?
I'm still watching Dale Markowski in 9th. He's been running good all night. One of my good friends over there in ARCS, so good to see him, you know, in the top 10. He's pretty much been in the top 10 all night, so I'd like to see him have a good finish. But John Hagan, I mean, and Joshua Gaiman, I mean, those two, they're going to be fast. And unless they get together, which is very possible, I think they're going to be strong contenders for this win.
Yep, and of course, see all the field doubling up. It looks like we've only probably have a few retirees here tonight, if any. James Wagner has still not come out from the pits. Zach McBride still in the pits, and then Jeff Scott as well still in the pits from that incident he had before the caution came out, this last caution. So hopefully some of those cars are able to get back on track, but we're about to go green coming off of turn 4. It's going to be John Hagan and Josh Gaiman leading them to the green here as the pace truck pulls down. Fans here cheer, and into the Geico restart zone we are going again. John Hagan leading them to the green. Coming off of turn 2, you see all these cars fanned out into 3 lanes, and there's a little bit of contact there with Austin Mongold. I believe that might have been Bobby Blowers he might have had contact with there a little bit, but a little bit of argy-bargy there, as the F1 commentators would say on the backstretch. But John Hagan still has lead of this race. The car going into the inside, that's Connor Morse. Looks like Dale Markowski in the wall on the front stretch. It looks like Connor Morse able to get away without much of a scratch, but Dale Markowski is still in that outside wall.
Big hit for Dale Markowski. Unfortunately, I gave him the commentator's curse, was bragging on him and was involved there. That's a big hit for Dale Markowski.
Yep. John Hagan, though, still getting a push from Josh Gaiman. Byron Jones making a move onto the 21 of Alfred Denny. See Dean Clavitt and Joshua Stossy behind him. I thought I saw Joshua. Oh, he's back. He blinked out. I thought I was going a little bit insane there, but he's back, and they're 2 by about 3 here on the front stretch for the lead here, the top 6.
Yeah, this has been a great race all night, riding along with the 56 right now. I mean, this is just so much fun. I love this track, love this truck, and this is just so much fun to watch.
Important note, Dale Markowski is now in the pits. Kind of a shame to see that happen. The good old commentator's curse strikes back. As we see Joshua Stossy trying to make it a little bit 3 wide, coming off of 4 against Denny, but just going to file back and push him down the front straightaway. Josh Gaiman looks like he might have taken the lead of that lap, and they're fighting hard for this lead position.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, it's 2, 3 wide, even up here, battling for the lead, and the whole pump is just racing really hard right now. I mean, we're coming to lap 36 of 62, so it's starting to get a little more intense, even more than we've already seen so far.
Yep, Joshua Stossy trying to make that outside work on Alfred Denny. Might finally be able to get the run off the corner knee to take away that 4th place from Alfred Denny, filing in behind Byron Jones on the outside of the front straightaway. Joshua Stossy has had a good race, and of course Alfred Denny up 27 positions currently from where he started this race, so quite a good showing from him so far.
Yeah, really good run by Alpha Denny. Running in 5th right now. Starting to look like everybody's maybe calming down just a little bit, but as soon as I say that, something may happen.
Yep. See a little bit 3-wide action, almost a little bit further back in the pack, but of course they're starting to get a little bit single file now. Hopefully have some good racing for the rest of the race. John Hagan takes back the lead from Joshua Gaiman, and going into turn 1, turn 2, Josh Gaiman gets onto the high side of Hagan somehow and gets the door shut on him by Hagan quite promptly off the turn.
Yeah, and this is one of those tracks where there's really no separation. I mean, because of how this track is, it is a lot of trucks right on top of each other, and I don't think anyone's really going to be able to get a good gap, especially with everyone running this close together with only 25 to go.
Yeah, you see Joshua Gaiman just pushing him down into turn 1 here. Actually, this is turns 1 and 2. You see him giving him quite a big push. Byron Jones behind Gaiman. They're just working together, honestly. It looks like just pushing each other, maybe just trying to make something happen. But of course, you know, they're also just looking for any space they can to make a move. See some 2-wide action in the back. It looks like Dean Clavitt on the inside of DJ Trout going to file in. It looks like here maybe try to take a position away from Pacey Wygen. Pacey Wygen back up to the front here. So we saw him involved in a few accidents, but he's made his way back up into the top 10 in the 7th position. Dean Clavitt in the 9th position, just trying to make his way back up to the front as well.
Yeah, Pacey's another really fast driver. I mean, obviously the defending champion and currently running in 7th right now. But Dean Clavitt trying to stay in the, actually just fell outside of the top 10, now in 11th. Just trying to kind of see where his trucks can run here to try and make up some spots.
Yeah, and of course he's on old tires. His last stop was only a 6-second spent in his pit box, so he might just be on some old tires, and that's why he's falling back a little bit now. He started that restart in what, 3rd or 4th, and now he's back to 11th, so starting to see some of that tire fall off. It wasn't as bad as Tate Little's on the 19 a few laps ago, and we got a
big wreck. Somebody's flipping.
Now.
Somebody is flipping.
See, I believe that's the 8 of Steven Overstad. Is that the 96 of Carmen Sienna? See the 19 of Tate Little there. Both of these cars are trying to limp it back into the pits. The entire front part of that car is basically ripped off. You can see the entire engine and suspension of that 96 truck, and a little bit of
she's not
some
happy
emotions there from Carmen towards Tate as they come into their pit boxes here to get that repaired. You see just a ton of damage on that 96 truck.
I think Carmen went for a wild ride right here, if that's what I saw. That is wild. We'll have to take a look, but that was a wild ride from the 96 truck.
Of course, we'll have to take a look here and see what happened. You see Tate McLittle, that yellow and purple truck in the 19 on the outside, the 96 of Carmen Sienna in the black and red truck on the inside. It looks like the 19 clips the 8. The 8 comes back up the track, maybe, nope, and then the 96 gets turned by the 19 and goes up into the... Wow, that was...
She met the catch fence.
Incredible. That was like a Kyle Larson 2013 moment right there at Daytona in the Xfinity Series. That was quite the ride there from Carmen.
Yeah, when she went up into the catch fence, it just shredded the whole front of her truck off. That is a wild crash there from the 96.
While we take it on board here with Carmen Sienna, see what happens basically as she's seen it. See the 8 go down into the infield, and then right here, see her get hooked, and not good. I see the sky.
What a wild ride. And she is not happy over the radio either. She is, and I wouldn't be either. I mean, that is definitely the end of her night.
Yep. Yep, that's definitely it for her. Maybe even for Tate Little in that incident. But see a lot of cars coming down for their pit stops now. John Hagen and Joshua Gaiman coming out first from their pit stops. Of course, John Hagen and Joshua Gaiman been at the front of this race for most of it, as we're on lap 42 now of 62 scheduled.
Yeah, 21 to go and 5th caution, and I promise y'all, that's not the last.
Yeah, it looks like we've got about 32-ish, 31-ish cars still on the lead lap here tonight. So, I mean, there's still a lot of cars in this thing that could feasibly make an impact on this race. Of course, a lot of people going to the back, doing different strategies. We see the 6 of Nicholas Hapiak getting another lap back. Good for him there. Gain another lap back as they're doubling it up for another restart here in Fontana.
Yeah, that 6 truck is gonna stay in here, and he might get a top 20 finish after this thing's over. So again, you can never give up. I mean, this is going to be another wild wreck. I'm telling you, there's just, like you said, I mean, there's still so many trucks on the lead lap, and this thing's about to get crazy.
Yep. The 88 of John Hagen and Joshua Gaiman in the 33 going to lead this field to the green once again. Byron Jones and Alfred Denny making up the second row on this restart, and then Joshua Sosi and DJ Trout in the third row. On board with Byron Jones in that third position. He's been up there a little bit throughout this race. He's been looking good tonight. He's been looking good, hoping to make just a few passes to get that win. Of course, though, lights on the pace truck have been out for quite some time on this lap. Gonna pull down really quite soon here. Taking an onboard look with Byron Jones for this restart. John Hagen gonna lead them to the green.
Green.
We're back underway here at Fontana. John Hagen leading them through the gears. Car spinning in front of the field. Not quite sure that it was. That was a big lick for one truck. That looks like the 78 of Richard Odie. Another lick for the 87 of Matthew Gallen. We're already back under yellow flag conditions. That was 2 big licks for 2 different trucks there. Got another truck here. I believe that looked like the 4 of Andrew Smith trying to get back to his pit stall. The 98 of John Matthews involved as well. That was a huge hit. A car spun in front of the field and leads to a lot of cars being involved with 18 to go here.
Yeah, and that truck that's coming down pit road right now missing the entire front end. I can't
That is
see
the 78 of Richard Odie.
Yeah, that's probably going to be the end of his night. That's a huge hit. I don't know what he hit, but he hit it hard.
He hit the car that was coming back across the track, I'm pretty sure. We're going to have to take a look at that. John Hagen, though, still going to have control of this race here at Auto Club. Let's take a look at the replay here in just a few moments. Here we are taking a look at the 4 of Andrew Smith. See him just get loose in front of the 94 truck, comes back across. Huge hit for the 74 and a few casualties, a few cars with damage from the 4 just spinning across the track.
Yeah, that's hard to avoid.
Or also get loose, so there was a bit of a second.
Yeah, Rowdy was in it too.
A little bit of a separate instance. See the 16, Chris Pendell get involved there with Bobby Blowers on board now with Blowers. Actually, you see the 54 just get loose and Blowers kind of has nowhere to go once he get loose with that incident in front of him happening, and gets hooked by the 16 and the 25, just calling a log jam there for Bobby.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, it's what when you see a truck in front of you loose, it's hard to do anything. And I mean, it happens so fast. I mean, you see that in live time. It is so hard. Oh, that's where he gets the damage right there.
That's the 87 of Matthew Gall, also with huge damage. Of course, the 78 hit Andrew Smith coming back up across the track. That's where he got his damage, kind of showing the same number, but nearly misses that one. Not able to miss that one is Matthew Gall, and he's going to hit the tires right there, and he left with some heavy damage.
Man, that is so frustrating as a driver. You think you have it cleared, and then a truck just out of nowhere comes in front of you. I mean, I've been there before. It is so frustrating.
Yep, back underway. You see the cars already doubling up for with a 1 to green. Going to be given by the flag man on the flag stand. Lights on the pace truck going out. And once again, John Hagan and Joshua Gaiman going to lead us to the green this time.
Yeah, we'll be taking the green with 15 to go, so it's been crazy so far. It's only going to get worse from here on out. 15 to go here at Auto Club. I'm excited to see who can get there to the finish in one piece.
Yeah, a lot of cars involved in incidents. Looks like we have about 35 cars on track. Actually, it's a little bit closer to a 32 cars on track still. So yeah, still got a decent amount of cars on track, but John Hagan, Joshua Gaiman on the first row once again, followed by Byron Jones now for Denny. Largely staying the same from the last race start we had. Joshua Sosi and Kyler McCarthy in 5th and 6th place respectfully.
Yeah, track position's so key now because with these cautions, it's hard to make passes. So anybody up front is in a good spot right now as we're getting ready to go green.
Saw Matthew Gall there, just still having the front end damage. Just no front bumper, still trying to make this restart and get a few more laps under his belt. On board with Byron Jones now, coming off of turn 4. Pace truck going to make the dive down onto pit road. John Hagan, Josh Gaiman leading them to the green. As John Hagan goes up through the gears, we're back underway here at Auto Club. I couldn't make out the number, but that was a Caterpillar car. The 83 Dale Markowski's involved. The 43 of Caleb Carter involved. That is the 08 of Jonathan Adams, who looked like to get spun at the finish line, and we're quite quickly back under the yellow flag. That was quite something.
Yeah, that was wild.
Let's try figure out what happened. John Hagan, of course, had a gigantic start, but nothing to come of it with that yellow flag coming out. Let's take a look at the replay here and see if we can figure out what happened. Keep your eye on that yellow and black Caterpillar car in the back. Looks like just a checkup. It puts the 08 of Jonathan Adams out of shape, hits the 34 Bobby Blowers. Connor Morse involved. The 83 of Dale Markowski gets a little bit hooked by Caleb Carter, trying to avoid it. Just a lot of unfortunate happenings coming from that checkup there on the restart.
Yeah, and that's everybody just trying to get everything they can on the restart. And, at the end of the day, you got to be careful. You got to watch that truck in front of you. Don't go until the truck in front of you goes. But this is on board with the Caterpillar car. I mean, this is crazy.
Looks like
Caleb Carter, sorry.
Looks like we're switching, on board with Caleb Carter here. As you see the checkup happening even on the inside line in front of him, he has to brake once again, and he sees that spin and tries to react, but already a car to the inside of him and just hooks the 83 and spins out a little bit himself there to cause that yellow. Few interesting notes. James Wagoner involved on an incident on lap 14, lap 15 back on track, as well as Clayton Hardy, Tate Little, and Dale Markowski actually just came back out on track just to be involved in that incident once again. Unfortunate for him.
Hey, sometimes when your night's bad, it just goes from bad to worse.
Indeed, it does. Still got a lot of cars coming in. We haven't had a pit. There's a few cars actually pitting right now. Connor Morse, Caleb Carton, Jonathan Adams, the main, kind of some of the main people involved in that last wreck. Bobby Blowers also coming back into the pits. John Hagan, though, still has the lead of this race, as he has for quite a while. Quite a while now.
Yeah, and the lucky dog just went around the field, and I think he's missing his entire front clip. So you never give up. Even if you're missing your front clip, you still got a shot.
Yep, and same top 5 as about the last restart. I mean, still a lot of these names at the front: John Hagan, Gaiman, Byron Jones, Alfred Denning, Joshua Sosi, Tyler McCarthy, DJ Trout, Pacey Wygen, Jaden Bingham, and we haven't really said his name at all tonight, and then Jimmy Mensch as well, also in this top 10. All these drivers right now in a good position to get a really good finish here tonight.
For sure. And I mean, if you're up front, now you just kind of hope that you can keep it green so you can make up some spots, because if you have another restart like we just had, you're not going to make up any spots because you can't even get through the gears before the caution gets thrown.
Yep. Lights on the pace truck are out. However, this time, John Hagan, Joshua Gaiman doubling up as the rest of the field follows suit. See quite a colorful cast of cars, a lot of pink, and I kind of like the color pink, so it's nice to see some pink cars out there. The nice camo car of John Hagan, some anime girls on the side of Josh Gaiman's car, some subway inspired paint schemes, it looks like, and we got a nice little cast of paint schemes out here.
Yeah, Gaiman's run some schemes before in ARCs that probably weren't PG friendly, so at least he's keeping it a little PG friendly tonight. But yeah, a lot of pink with the Cancer Sucks 200. That's awesome to see a lot of pink in the field tonight.
Yep. The USS Iowa on the side of Josh Gaiman's car apparently, as we're going through turns 3 and 4. We're about ready to get this race back underway. A few cautions in a row here. Hopefully we can get a green flag run to the finish on board with Byron Jones once again for the restart. Pace truck makes a sharp left turn down to the pit lane. John Hagan gets the green flag, and we're back underway once again here at Auto Club. John Hagan still keeping control of this race, but Byron Jones going to the inside, making a move on John Hagan. Let's see if it works. Gets a little bit tight off the corner, and they're racing hard with coming to 10 to go here at Auto Club. See a lot of cars pushing each other, trying to vie for top 10, top 5, even the win going into turn 1.
Yeah, with 10 to go, there are no friends anymore on track, as they are just racing their hearts out here. We'll be coming to 9 to go. What a race so far.
Yeah, it's go time here for the drivers here in Southern California. John Hagan takes the lead back away from Byron Jones coming into turn 3, and we got John Hagan, Joshua Sosi, and John Gaiman all in a line, but not in that order, as we're gonna have 9 to go this time by some pretty heavy racing, some very exciting racing going on throughout the field.
Yeah, and the big question is, what does Joshua Gaiman do as these laps tick down? Is he going to try and force his way around John Hagan? Both of them very aggressive. The 81 right there ready if something happens with these top two.
Of course, and both of these, a few of these drivers are willing to get a little bit dirty with what they do, get their hands dirty, make some moves that maybe other people are uncomfortable with. Because we got another caution once again. Oh, that's the 18 of Alyssa Pelletier Sharp into the wall. Looks like some heavy damage on the front end of that car. The 78 Matthew Gall, that was still some damage there, but of course not looking good for him as John Hagan. Actually, no, Joshua Gaiman in the lead gonna be in the lead for the restart this time, catching up to the pace truck here.
Yeah, it's gonna be really close to probably 5 to go, 4 or 5 to go, depending on how the pace truck and iRacing set it up. But here we got a replay here of the 18 truck.
Yep, the 18 of Alyssa Pelletier Sharp just gets in front of the 18. Comes down on Connor Morris, maybe? That was kind of hard to tell, but hits the outside wall a ton, and that's probably the engine expired. Not going to be able to use that one, or at least going to have to fix it up back home at the shop. Yeah, just a gigantic hit for Alyssa there. Let's see. Yep. Got on board here from Connor Morris's perspective going into turn 3. Looks like Alyssa comes down on the 89, maybe expecting rather the 89 to go a little bit farther down, take a little bit further of a line. What's your take on this, Ryan?
Yeah, that's tough because 18 goes from low to high right here, and Connor's just trying to, I mean, he could have ran over her right there, to be honest. I mean, that's tough. I mean, as a race car driver, when you have somebody down low and then goes up high, I mean, he's going to try and go low. That's just one of those racing incidents that just doesn't end up well for the 18.
Yeah, and the 18 made a little bit of an aggressive move there too, kind of put herself in that position. But of course, probably doesn't make her any less disappointed in what result she's going to get. I'm pretty sure, towed it back to the pit lane and is now staying there, waiting for his damage to get repaired, maybe hopefully in time for that truck to complete some more laps. Seeing here though, 33 Joshua Gaiman in the lead, followed by John Hagan, who's led most of this race, and then Joshua Sosi in third. Byron Jones in the 4th position, Pacey Wygen in 5th, Alfred Denny in 6th, DJ Trout in 7th, Kyler McCarthy in 8th, and then Jimmy Mensch up 22 positions in 9th, as well as Dustin Hall in 10th to finish out your top 10. Gonna be on this restart.
Yeah, it looks like we'll be restarting with 5 to go, as hopefully the lights on the pace truck turn off here, and they do.
They do, so we'll be doubling up this time. John Hagan going to the outside of Joshua Gaiman, and the rest of the field following suit, getting lined up for their places. You saw the 19 Tate Little exiting the pits there. Might have been a little bit late. Oh, looks like he's able to get out in front of the pace truck, on board with Austin Mongold. Bit of a zoom in, a very far zoom in. Just seeing how kind of like the surface of this track is. Honestly, it's very rough, a lot of patches here.
Hey, use code Ferret for 10% off. I'm not sure where, but I'd like to use that code. But yeah, this at Dubby, use code Ferret, get you 10% off there at Dubby. Good plug there. But Austin Mongold in 10th right now, 10th or 11th. Good run for him. He's taking some chances, and he's right there. This is going to get wild. I think even anyone from 10th to 12th could be safe, because the whole field may wreck here.
Yeah, of course. And it's going to be quite interesting here with 5 to go on this restart. On board with Joshua Sosi, looking at the back of the 33 truck. See John Hagan on the outside for the first restart in a while. The pace truck pulls off Joshua Gaiman, John Hagan, leading him to the green into the Geico restart zone. And they're off back through the gears. 5 to go here at Auto Club. Gaiman gained a pretty good start on the rest of the field, but Joshua Sosi is going to go to the inside of the 33 machine on the backstretch. The high side has that run off of turn 2 though, and Joshua Gaiman's still going to be able to retain the lead over Sosi. Dives down in front of the 81, then dives back up to get the run off the corner. Some masterclass here from Gaiman, and just trying to retain this lead from these two drivers behind him who are both hungry for the win.
Yeah, the gloves are off now with 4 to go. Everyone's
a little bit contact.
Oh, wow, that was close.
A little bit of contact there between the 81 of 80 and Hagen. I mean, they're still rubbing in the middle of the corner. This is in the danger zone. Hagen and Sosi going at it hard. They're still bumping on board with Sosi here. They're fighting hard. They're not each other's friends right now. It's getting pretty wild.
And Gaiman loves this. He's hoping that these two behind him are just gonna keep racing.
Oh, another
make contact.
Bit of a hip check hockey style there. Looking like Alex Ovechkin. Sosi is onto the 88 of Hagen. Coming down to 1. We got 3 to go. I mean, they're racing hard for this win. And he's going to touch him again, just trying to get him a little bit up the track. Sosi is, they're going at this hard.
He is using up that left rear and can't quite make it work. But, man, what a race here with only 3 to go, coming to 2 to go here.
Pacey Wajin also fighting for something here. Hagen dives down in front of Sosi, almost spins himself across the front of that 81 car. They're racing incredibly hard for the win. 2 to go here at the line. John Hagen looking for a move onto Joshua Gaiman into turn 1, going all the way down to that white line, coming back up for the entry into 1.
This is wild. John Hagen doing a really good job.
He's going to have the lead. He's going to force Gaiman to push him out of the corner. They're racing hard. The margins are inches, millimeter. Hagen has the lead. Gaiman, though, racing him hard on the inside. Looks like he's got the quarter panel there. They're racing each other hard. 2.
Caution, yellow flag.
Oh, there's a yellow flag. There's a wreck that's going to cause a green-white checkered. 1 of 3. Austin Mongold involved. Chris Pannell involved. And we were spared, maybe, from a finish there. It's going to get even crazier here as we go into the overtimes, the green-white checkers here at Fontana. Incredible racing there from the leaders, Josh Gaiman, John Hagen, and Joshua Sosi. Just incredible stuff.
Shout out to NASCAR for throwing that caution. We were almost at the white flag, and NASCAR threw it. So good job to the race director tonight throwing that caution. We get to do some more racing. I'm excited.
Of course, and of course, Joshua Gaiman retained the lead. Let's go to a replay, figure out what happens here on the front stretch off of turn 4. We see Martin Roberg maybe involved in this a little bit. Looking at Chris Pannell's point of view here. You can see a car already spinning. I believe that's the 92 of Austin Mongold spinning in front of the pack here. Connor Morse, Blake Henderson, the 16 of Pannell just gets a little bit hooked by the 54 of Rowdy, and that just causes some evasive action from the cars behind, and that's the reason the caution flag came out to give us our first green-white checkered of the night. Back to the live shot now, though. Of course, with the green light checkered rules, if you are not familiar, once we go back racing green, there's only 1 lap of green flag racing, and then it's the white flag, and then it's the checkered flag. So 2 laps of racing. If the caution comes out before the white flag, before the leader crosses the line for the white flag, we get another chance at a green-white checkered, and we only have 3 attempts. So no matter what happens on the 3rd attempt, we race it out to crown a champion of this race. So it's going to be quite interesting to see if it takes all 3 attempts or we're just going to get 1 or 2.
I think we use all 3. That's just my opinion, but my race facts are saying we're gonna use all 3. But we'll see what happens here.
The what do you call them? The predictions, maybe, or the trends.
The Larry Mac trends are saying we're gonna use all 3 of these green-white checkers.
They're racing pretty hard for this win, and we might end up using these or maybe even wrecking at the line to determine a winner. Lights on the pace truck are going to be going out this time, though. We see the field already doubling up. Joshua Gaiman in the lead, up 13 spots from where he started. John Hagan next to him. Joshua Sosi in 3rd, Pacey Wedge in 4th, and then Alfred Denny in 5th. Seeing a race summary here. 9 cautions for 25 caution laps, 10 lead changes. As we get into the final stages of this race, the green-white checkers, who's your money on, Ryan?
I'm going with Gaiman, Joshua Gaiman, but I think John Hagan is going to put up a fight. It's going to be fun. This is going to be a really good finish. I'm going to go for a bit of wild card. I think Sosi might be able to have this. I think Hagan and Gaiman might get into each other a little bit of a mishap, and that's going to allow Sosi to sneak by and take this victory. Let's see what happens here for our first green-white checkered attempt. Coming down into turn 3. Drivers probably pretty nervous in those cockpits, just waiting to step on that gas and get back racing once again. Pretty far back from the pace truck. These trucks are on board with Joshua Sosi. See the fans on their feet here at Auto Club, ready for a spectacular finish. The pace truck pulls off Josh Gaiman. John Hagan coming into the Geico restart zone. Will we have another chance? It's green. Gaiman gets a push from Sosi, and they're going into turn 1 here at Auto Club. Gaiman out front, in front of Hagan. Sosi on the inside of Hagan in the 88, 81. They're pushing hard. They're pushing each other. They're racing hard. 33 Gaiman still retaining the lead, though. Coming off of turn 4. Are they going to make it to the white flag for one more lap of racing here? They do. Looks like they're going to get to the white flag, so this is it. We're going to race it back to the checkered.
A little bit of contact here. Pacey Wygen going to push Hagan, give him a little bit of a tap into turn 1. Hagan looking to the outside of Joshua Gaiman. Is he going to be able to get there? Not quite. He's going to file in behind, but Byron Jones. Oh, he got a horse in the back. That's going to be not a caution. They're still going to race this out. Joshua Gaiman still has control of this race. John Hagan's going to do everything in his power to get around the 33 truck. Oh, they're wrecking behind. Byron Jones gets together with, I'm not quite sure who that is, but it's going to be Josh Gaiman is going to come across the line and win here at Auto Club. What a spectacular finish. Josh Gaiman getting the win at Auto Club. Hard fought for him. Incredible finish there from our drivers.
Yeah, what a finish. That was awesome. Only 9/10 of a second. John Hagan finishes 2nd. Pacey Wygant in 3rd. Susie 4th. McCarthy, we really didn't talk much about him, comes home in P5. So what a finish here at Auto Club.
Incredible stuff from these drivers. The 33, Joshua Gaiman gets the win after incredible effort fighting Hagan and Sosi. See him getting a little bit of a push from Pacey Wygant there. A bit of a good job, bud. And he's gonna burn him down. what a performance from Gaiman here tonight.
The old USS Iowa would be proud of that 33 tonight.
Yeah, he's burning it down on that AAA logo here. Just giving the fans a show. Looks like he's doing a little bit of a drift there. Looks like he's in a drifting competition. What a drift there. What a smoke show from Gaiman. Incredible stuff here at Auto Club as he's going to pull it into the victory lane here on the front stretch, the 19th hole victory lane there in the Gatorade victory lane. They're both sponsors there on the front stretch. Incredible race from the drivers here tonight. Let's look at the results, the unofficial results here from the Cancer Sucks 200 at Auto Club. Joshua Gaiman taking home the victory tonight. Just under a 10th back was John Hagan in the 88 truck. Pacey Wygant in the 31 to round out the podium. Josh Sosi in fourth. Kyler McCarthy, good race from him, a good finish in fifth. Alfred Denny in sixth, up 26 spots. What a fantastic finish for him. DJ Trout in seventh. Jimmy Mensch up 23 spots in eighth. Lily Frazier in ninth. Dean Clavitt in 10th for your top 10. David Spiel Jr. finishes out in 11th. Blake Henderson in 12th of 13 spot. And then Austin Mongold, probably the biggest mover of tonight's race. Oh, sorry. Second biggest movers of tonight's race is Austin Mongold in the 13th position. Martin Roberg in 14th. Lane Myers in 15th. Rodney Ayers in 16th. Jaden Bingaman in 17th, Dustin Hall in 18th, Byron Jones 19th, John Matthews in 20th, Caleb Carter in 21st, Matt Gall in 22nd, Christopher Bentel in 23rd, Connor Morse in 24th, 25th belongs to Steven Overstat. Now in 26th, Rance Lewin Rowdy finishing 2 laps down in 26th. Bobby Blowers 4 laps down in 27th. Dale Markowski 5 laps down in 28th. Richard Odie 6 laps down in the 29th position. Then in 30th, Alyssa Peltier Sharp 12 laps down. Tate Little 15 laps down in the 31st position. Nicholas Hapiak gets back on track after a hard hit in the first incident to finish 32nd, 16 laps down. Jonathan Adams, 18 laps down in 33rd. Andrew Smith, 21 laps down from the 34th position. Carmen Sienna, 27 laps down from 35th. Zach McBride, 36th, 32 laps down. 37, James Wagoner, 34 laps down. And then rounding out the field, Jeff Scott in the 38, matching his position, 39 laps down. Now let's talk to our third place finisher from tonight, Pacey Wygant in the 00. Pacey Wygant, how are you feeling?
I mixed emotions in that race.
Good to know. Good to know. You came home with a third position, of course, up front for most of the race. I mean, how'd you feel throughout the race? I think you had an incident pretty early on, about lap 20 or so. Put you down into 33rd, your lowest of the night, but able to come back from the pole and finish in third. Just walk us through the race.
It was just all about trying to just maximize when cautions were going to come out, maximizing how much track position you could gain in between. I know the one stint I went from like 23rd to 7th, and then a caution came out like 2 laps after I got to 7th, and that kind of killed any strategy of fuel there. So at that point, it was just a go down pit road. There was no fuel in it anymore, and then we just kept getting caution after caution after caution. It was really hard to make up any time, and so I kind of got stalled out there in fourth. I felt like I might have been a little bit quicker than at least second and third for the longest time there. And I just this track's so draft dependent in the trucks, especially with it being at night and the track's so cool. It's really really hard to make passes here without contact, and I strive for not making contacts. So I'd rather do it clean and get around them than have to worry about possibly getting doored next time I'm around them at a different track. So it is what it is, and at least the 31 got put on the pole tonight. So
that counts for something very honorable from you. And try not to make really any contact from everyone. Of course, you were in a good position winding down those laps, 5 to go, restart the green white checkered. How are you feeling in those positions? And like, what was the pressure like for you? You know, like you seen these trucks ballot out, John Hagen, Josh Soshi, Gaiman, just like. How are you feeling in that moment, and just like what are you seeing to come home third in that moment?
I was just feeling trapped. You could get a run, but if you drive to the inside, you're more than likely going to get just drove back by around on the high side and then probably lose 3-4 more positions. So I felt pretty trapped. I just kind of had to push Hagen, and Susie and Hagen, they were door banging, side drafting. So it was just it was just all around. I felt trapped. I felt like if I could get around him, I could have given Gaiman a run for the money, but it is what it is at the end of the day. P3 is still better than, P4.
Of course, and after that third place finish, is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go tonight?
Yeah, I got to thank Orlando Outlaws team. They're the ones giving me the truck ride for tonight, and I'll be back in it next week. PBR, my team over there, just y'all up in the booth for broadcasting. HTL as a whole, Dean Clavitt for putting all this on. It's a lot of fun racing here. Once it gets cleaned up and there's not so many cautions, it'll be even better, though, I feel.
Of course. So we're gonna let you go. Enjoy the rest of your night, man, and congratulations on the third place finish.
Thank you.
That was Pacey Wygen, our third place finisher from tonight. Next up, we're going to bring in John Hagen, our second place finisher tonight in the 88. John, you got a copy?
I have a copy.
Good to know. You finished second after a long and grueling race where you were in first place for the most of it. Just how are you feeling? Walk us through your race coming up to those final laps.
The first half of the race, it was really just take it chill, keep it in the top 5 to 7, so that I can have some bit of track position. And I really wanted it to go green because that's where I feel like I excel, especially in this car. This track is green flag runs and saving the tire, but we didn't get that tonight. So I had to shift focus to the 5 to 10 lap runs, and I had to learn under fire where people were running to maintain their track position and how hard they were running. But after I figured that out, Josh really wasn't looking to attack as much as keep his track position too throughout the later half of the race where we were 1-2. So, I mean, I guess that made it easier for both of us, but he really didn't attack. And then at the end, that's when he turned the switch and started making moves, and I just got caught by a unlucky caution timing that gave him the lead, I think. If I was that fender width in front of him coming to that caution, I think I would have won this race, but you can only do so much, So I gave it what I had, and I didn't want to bomb it in there in a 3 on the final lap, run him up the track and ruin both our races by accident. So I stuck with the let's hope he overdrives it and I can get back under him. But he didn't. He did a good job, and he always does a good job. He's very good at turning that switch on. So congrats to him, and it was fun.
Yeah, and how are you feeling in those late cautions with the 5 to go restart, and then of course the green white checkered restart? Like, how are you feeling? There was a lot of bumping between you and Sosi, and just give us your thoughts on those late moments in the race.
Oh, I'm not gonna say too much, so I don't look stupid. He just wasn't given a lot of room, I guess, and this is right on the track. But there was a couple moments where he definitely didn't have to do what he did, but it's all good. I do it sometimes too. I'm gonna put that behind me. Hopefully he can too. And yeah, whatever it is, what it is, and I can only control what I have behind the wheel for me. So overall, it was fun racing him and bumping and door banging, trying to get to that lead.
Well, I'll tell you what, we had a fun time watching it up here. Ryan, you got any questions for John?
No, not really. I mean, just good job, buddy. And me and you have had some run-ins on track, and it's good to see you come home second. Is there anything you think you could have did different to maybe get game in there at the end?
Am I allowed to say grow a pair? If not, whatever. Throw it in, I guess, into 3 when I had that run. But I mean, other than that, no, I was wide open the whole time, and obviously I can't get it to the bottom because there's a car there. So I had as much as I had that the wide open tires could handle, and whoever was pushing me behind could handle. And I didn't throw it in there because I respect Josh on track, and so I'm not going to ruin his race like that by putting myself in a spot to make a mistake and take us both out.
All right, and before we let you go, you got anybody to thank for tonight's performance? A great second place from you.
I want to shout out my beautiful girlfriend who was watching. It was her birthday this weekend. I mentioned it yesterday, or on Sunday, I guess. But happy birthday to her, and I love her, and thank you for supporting me while I race. Shout out to everybody at Hanging Shangle Racing, Jacob Shangle and John Smeal for being our painters, and Oberstadt, Trout, Adams, and myself for being fun to hang out with while we race. Shout out to you, Eli, and Ryan. I think that's who's in the booth for putting on this broadcast here for HTL Trucks, and hopefully y'all get to talk to me in first place sometime soon.
Yep, thank you. Congrats on the second place finish, and enjoy the rest of your night, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that was John Hagan in the 88 finishing second in tonight's contest. And now let's bring in the winner of tonight's race, the 33 of Joshua Gaiman. Josh, you got a copy?
I got you.
Good. And you had quite a fun battle there with a lot of those drivers in the front of the pack. Gained 13 spots. What were you thinking in the starting stages of the race?
Yeah, I just had to keep the right front on it, and just really hope I wasn't gonna push the truck too hard. And throughout the race, I just realized that as long as you were up in that top 5, it wasn't affecting me nearly as much as I thought it would. So I'd coming to the last 15 laps there, I just really turned the heat up and did what I had to do.
Yeah, and you got the lead late after a pretty quick caution on John Hagan, and then you were able to keep it throughout the rest of the race and even those last restarts. Kind of walk us through how you were feeling once you got the lead and how you were able to keep that control of that lead, especially coming to the white flag and the checkered.
Yeah, just the control in that middle lane was pretty big. It's tough to pass on the bottom once the tires wear in and its truck starts getting a little bit tight. And with the way these trucks are, how the draft is, the aero tight is pretty nuts. So as long as you can kind of control that middle to, about half a lane up, it makes it a lot easier. It's not, completely easy, but just control the runs that people are getting and control that middle, and you're pretty much golden.
And of course, Ryan, you got any questions for Josh here?
Man, I just want to say congrats. You took that USS Iowa truck to victory lane, and I couldn't be more proud of you. So I love you, buddy, and good win, man.
Yeah, there's a few things you can put on a vehicle to make it go faster. I think I found 2 of them. But, yeah, thank you. It was a great race. It was a lot of fun battling with those guys.
And before we let you go, anybody you want to thank for tonight's victory?
I'll shout out, everyone at Lady Liberty and Valfreya for bringing me in for the Cup Series, and I'm, running the same number over here in the trucks as well. Just repping the team at HTL as much as I can. It's been a good group to drive with. Cup's probably not been going as good as his truck is right now, so we'll see if we can turn that one around. And shout out to Maconi Setup Shop, not on this one, but we'll shout out 213 Somewhere and W Energy as well for riding along all my big cars, and for y'all for doing the broadcast, and for the admins for putting up with us.
Of course, and we're going to let you go. Enjoy the win. Have a good rest of your night, Josh, and we'll see you next time around at Las Vegas.
Absolutely.
That was Josh Gaiman in the 33, tonight's winner of the Cancer Sucks 200 at Auto Club. We're going to thank you tonight here at ABN for watching us tonight as we take another look at the official results. Of course, John Hagan, your winner tonight. Josh Gaiman, your winner. John Hagan in second. Pacey Wygen in third. Joshua Sosi in fourth. Kyler McCarthy in fifth. Alfred Denny sixth. DJ Trout seventh. Jimmy Mention eighth. Lily Frazier in ninth. Dean Clavitt in 10th. David Spiel Jr. in 11th, Blake Henderson in 12th, Austin Mongold 13th, Martin Roberg in 14th, Lane Myers in 15th, Rodney Ayers in 16th, Jaden Bigeman in 17th, Dustin Hall in 18th, Byron Jones in 19th, John Matthews in 20th, Caleb Carter in 21st, Matt Gall in 22nd, Christopher Pendel in 23rd, Connor Morrison 24th, Stephen Overstat in 25th, Rance Lewin Rowdy in 26th, 2 laps down, Bobby Blowers 4 laps down in 27th, 28th, Dale Markowski 5 laps down, 29th is Richard Odie 6 laps down, 12 laps down is Alyssa Peltier Sharp in 30th, Tate Little 31st, Nicholas Hapiak in 32nd, John Adams in 33rd, Andrew Smith in 34th, Carmen Sienna 35th, Zach McBride in 36th, James Wagner in 37th, and then Jeff Scott right now at the field in 38th. And that's going to do it for the night's broadcast on ABN 1. Well, thank you all for watching so much. We had a great race tonight. Any final thoughts, Ryan, on tonight's race?
Yeah, just a great race overall. I mean, definitely, a few cautions tonight, but you kind of expect that with this type of racing here at Auto Club. And good job to Joshua Gaiman for getting the win, and John Hagan and Pacey Wygant for getting on the podium. And can't wait for next Tuesday. This has been so much fun so far, and I'm excited for the rest of the season.
Of course, we have Las Vegas next weekend, the third round of the HTL Hammerdown Truck Series season. I'm Eli Sasak, Ryan Pannell in the booth with me, Strix Pulsatrix, the producer of tonight's show. This has been the Cancer Sucks 200 at All Club. We all thank you so much for watching, and have a good rest of your night.